Hello. I'm posting this on my digital diary account, which I actually haven't posted on here since December 16th, 2024, and it's now January 4th, 2026. So I think the video I posted on the 16th was just a short video of me making gift baskets for my friends at the time, and I hadn't posted prior to that since I think October 20th or 24th or something like that. So it's been quite a while, and I just stopped posting because I wanted that account to be an easy diary type thing, but I ended up having either difficulties or interruptions or things like that while filming, which made me have to go back and edit things out. Either I missaid something or family member came in and interrupted me, and then I had to remember to go back and edit that part out for privacy purposes or flow or whatnot, and it just became too much, and I don't like editing, and that's why half of my YouTube channels have failed, or like all of my YouTube channels that I've tried to do have failed. But I want to just make this video as an update and hopefully be a little bit more active. I know I used to do daily updates almost the whole month of October. I think I posted something in 2024, but I'm not sure if I can do the dailies anymore. I did do Vlogmas on my TikTok account. I've actually been decently active on my TikTok account for a couple months, but I think that's kind of what inspired me to do this, because Vlogmas ended on December 25th, obviously, but I've still wanted to try and find something to post. But this account, this YouTube account, is not really for anyone to watch. I guess it's just for me. And I was trying to watch through some of my old videos to find out like what I was talking about, what was going on, and they're so long, so I don't really think I can sit down and watch any of them unless I'm gonna dedicate time to watch videos of me talking for hours on end. But yeah, this is just gonna be an update kind of from the end of October until today. So I'm at work currently, but my job is very easy. I think I'll talk more about it later when I get to the time where I started this job. But I basically have nothing to do for the next hour. I might have to go back and forth a little bit and do things if they come up. But I work at a hotel and I'm doing night audit right now, which is like the night shift. So there's not really anything to do unless someone comes in. But I might just have to hold my phone here the whole time because I don't really think there's anywhere I could set it up. And I'm also slightly sick, so I have a bunch of tissues around me, and I have a emergency drink, and hopefully I'll be okay. I'm feeling a little bit better right now as I'm talking because I think I'm actually getting oxygen inside my lungs. But anyways, I went through my camera roll because that's kind of how I base my memory off of, because I have a terrible memory. And I'm also not sure what camera I'm supposed to be looking in here. I think I prefer to look at my face to make sure I'm not looking crazy. But then I think when you're watching the video, it just looks weird. But it's fine. So I went through my camera roll to try and find significant moments from that month. And yeah, I don't really remember anything unless I'm actually thinking about it, which I'm not. I'm just trying to do an easy recap. So anyways, for meaning of October, the only thing I really had was I had some pictures from my culinary class, because I went to the college and did a culinary class there, and it was pretty fun. And I had a picture of my, I think, potato soup or something I made, and it turned out really good. A lot of that stuff I made in there turned out really good. I'm not really using too many of the skills I learned in that class now, but I think it was still a really, really, really fun class, and I don't really think I regret it at all. But I know I still use some of the skills. We made different soup bases and things like that that I still sometimes use. There's that thing that's called the roux. I remember about roux, and then there's the blonde roux and the dark blonde roux or something like that. And I still sometimes use that. And then knife skills and whatnot. But that's kind of all that October was. November, I had some pictures. I had/have a pen pal, but it kind of failed. Her name is Meadow. I forgot where she lived, but we were pen paling, I think, since for a couple months or something like that. But then there's like some difficulties, and I'm not good at keeping up with things. So that kind of fell off, unfortunately. But she actually recently messaged me on Discord because that's how we were communicating. Obviously, primarily through pen pal, but for things that we were like, oh, should I send this or should I not send this? Like those kind of situations, we were communicating on Discord because she doesn't have any other social media, and at the time I didn't either. I think that's how it was. But I had gotten off Discord for various reasons, and I just re-downloaded it the other night, or not re-downloaded, but I'm signing it on my phone, but I was on my PC, so I opened it for the first time in a while, and I saw that she had messaged me like a week ago or something, so maybe we'll kick that back up. But I left all my pen pal stuff at home, or in the previous place I lived. December, so about a year ago, it wasn't significant at the time, but I did meet my now boyfriend. I have a boyfriend. So I'll talk about that later. Don't worry. But I met my now boyfriend at work in that month. But we weren't, I don't even think we were friends or anything. We were just coworkers who talked maybe once a week. But I did think he was cute. And he was tall and blonde and cute. So, and then that's when I had made my gift basket video, which I posted on this account, and that was the one video I posted for a while. I was baking a lot during that time. I think December, January, I started baking a lot more, gaining more experience. I was definitely doing things that I wasn't really comfortable with, and me and my dad volunteer at his church occasionally, or I did when I lived there. I moved out, by the way. So they had events for recovering addicts and whatnot, and they would always serve food and whatever. So I had volunteered several times to provide baked goods, desserts. So I was kind of experimenting more and whatnot. I visited Texas for Christmas. It was about a week, 3 weeks. It was a decent amount of time. So like the last half of December and into January, I was in Texas for Christmas, New Year's, because parents divorced, obligations, whatnot. And then I think I had interacted with my now boyfriend about one time before then, because he had just started working there, and that's why we only had like one interaction. But he says that he at least remembers that I did leave, and he, like, at the time we didn't know each other really that much, and he just had thought I quit or something like that because we didn't talk, obviously. But then I came back in January, and I actually was in a mall shooting, very Texas core, and I'm not trying to joke about it or downplay, because I'm pretty sure there was some deaths and injuries and things like that, but it was just definitely an experience. Me and my mom were at the mall, Clean Mall in Texas, and we were just shopping or whatever, and in one of the department stores, it's like Marshalls or Ross or one of those, we were about to go in, but we stopped at the Hallmark store because I was feeling so sick, and I was like, I don't really want to go in a big department store right now with a bunch of clothes and smells and everything, so I was like, let's just go to Hallmark and then we'll go in there and then leave. So as I was in Hallmark, we were just about to walk out, and then there was the shots and everything. Everyone was screaming and running, and then we went to the back of Hallmark and then found out what happened and then left, and there's cop cars everywhere. Whole mall shut down immediately. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. And then a little bit later, I went to a cafe downtown, and I met Dude Perfect for the second time. I met them first a couple years ago at the Peabody Hotel in Tennessee, I think it is. And then I met them again. Not the whole squad or whatever, but it was the twins. So I met the twins and then one of the tall blonde guys. I don't watch Dude Perfect anymore, so I know their faces. I just don't remember their names. I used to watch them religiously when I was a kid. But so I met the twins and then one of the tall blonde guys. I think he's ginger or something like that, or maybe he's just blonde. but I met them at the Peabody Hotel. And then I saw both twins at the cafe, but I only ended up talking and taking a picture with one of them in December. January, I get back to Sheridan. I am basically on my computer 24/7. If I'm not working, if I'm not going to school, I'm on my computer. I was just hanging out with my friends and everything, basically escaping from reality. I went out a couple times downtown dressed up, but primarily game, VC, Discord, all of January. I built a new PC, got my wisdom teeth removed. That was kind of crazy. Dyed my hair red, just box dye. It's still kind of growing out a little bit. You can tell more, like when I was getting it cut just a couple of weeks ago, you could definitely tell where it's growing out. And then my perm is also growing out. So if I don't like tie my hair back or braid it or weigh it down, when it dries, like half of it will be curly and then half of it will be straight. It's the worst thing ever. Like, it's very annoying. But I fed lots of deer. So where we lived, deer would always be walking around, whatever. And I ended up making a little group. They all loved me. They would always come to our front door 2 to 3 times a day and just wait for me. And then I would come out and feed them a bunch of bread and everything. And whenever they would see my car coming up, they would all, like coming home from work or whatever, they would all come and wait at the door for me to bring them food. Very greedy, but so cute. I love feeding them. They let me pet them. I hung out with them and talked to them and whatever. It was very fun. At that time, I got very obsessed with weight loss and fat loss and everything. I bought weight loss pills. I basically did not eat. I did not do anything. I was just obsessed with losing weight and losing fat. I have so many pictures of like my body, like progress pics, you know. There was no progress. I was trying, but wasn't trying hard enough. But I was going to the gym and everything. I was walking, running, doing all this stuff to try and lose fat. But I think that's just who I am. I think I'm just naturally gonna have body fat on me because of genetics and whatever. My mom is definitely very bigger boned, you know. My dad holds on to fat very easily as well. My younger brother and my older brother both, well, my younger brother is more toned. He doesn't have fat though, and my older brother is just skinny. So, like, I want to be like them, you know? But my younger brother works out a ton, so that's probably why. Also baking a lot in January, doing a bunch of stuff at the church. February, again, just gaming 24/7. Lots of college. I also did piano classes at the college, but those were such a waste of time. I dreaded every single day. I'm pretty sure I skipped like half those classes and made up excuses for them. Like, I really wanted to get back into an instrument and have a skill or something like that, which is learning a new instrument and doing something I'm bad at. I just felt very dumb, and I don't like feeling dumb. I don't like doing things I'm bad at, and I was just very unmotivated. So yeah, that was kind of a waste of my time. But I mean, I wasn't paying for it. I was still in high school at the time, so college was free. And then I also got back into my Pokemon addiction. At that time, I spent a lot of money on Pokemon. Me and my friends online would open them together all the time. Actually, I don't know. I think I was just opening them by myself at that point. And then later on, I actually found out that both of my friends were super interested in Pokemon as well, but we just never talked about it because we were mostly on Valorant. But anyways, March, basically just gaming the whole month with my online friends the whole month. I was not doing anything else. April is when I actually started to hang out with my boyfriend for the first time. I think in March or April, we ended up becoming friends because I was huge yapper at work. I was talking to everyone, and I was just talking to someone about Valorant and everything, and he came up and was saying like, "Oh, you play Valorant, blah blah blah," and I was like, "Yeah," and then I was like, "Do you play Valorant?" And he was like, I mean, I have it, I just don't really play it at all." I was like, "Okay, what's your Discord?" You know, because I thought he was cute, you know, so I wanted to try and like get to know him. And gaming and that whole community, Discord, that's how I get to know people. And so I was getting my in, you know. So yeah, then I added his Discord and we started playing more and everything and talking a lot. I introduced him to my friend group. He introduced me to his friend group a little bit, but that was a little bit later on ish. His main best friend, he also played Valorant and he was like really, really good. So we all kind of played together every now and then. But the rest of his friend group I met later on once we got together. But yeah, in April I hung out with him for the first time in like mid-April, and then we were basically hanging out all the time after that. And then in May is when we actually started dating, and it was so exciting. And it was my like, okay, like I had 2 previous boyfriends, 2.5 ish. But this is the first time it kind of felt real, because when I enjoyed hanging out with him, 2, I did hang out with him like IRL, and then 3, like he cared about me and I felt comfortable with him. He never tried to change me. So it just felt real. And during that time, my self-esteem started to rise so much. Like, it's honestly crazy that when someone shows you love, how much it changes how much you love yourself. Because everyone always says, and I agree with it, that you should love yourself before loving others. But I honestly think it's hard to love yourself when no one has ever loved you before. And so I think I really needed to get outside of that thing that everyone's saying all the time, because I was so scared to be with anyone, because everyone's always like, you shouldn't get with someone and put all your insecurities or issues on them. Like, you should be solving all of those yourself and loving yourself first. Don't put all your self drama on someone else. But I think I just needed that help. I needed that extra boost, that just the helping hand. And I think, well, I know that it helped me a lot. Like, every now and then I'll be like, oh, I don't really feel pretty today, or I just feel extra fat today. My face just doesn't look good. My hair's not doing good. But it's one of those things where it's just like, you feel sucky for a few minutes, but then it's just like, well, whatever. You know, it's not that feeling where I have to go and buy weight loss pills. I have to go starve myself for days. I have to do bad things to myself. You know, it's just like one of those, well, whatever. I'll just go put a bow in my hair, you know? I've been very obsessed with bows. It's kind of bad. But yeah, it's just like, I'm not religious or anything, but I do think my boyfriend was a huge, huge, huge blessing for me. I think I really needed him, and I don't think I would be where I am today without him. Who knows if I would even be here, because at that time, like a while ago, my mental health was low, okay? Like, if something were to happen where I was put in a bad situation, I would just accept it. But I think now, I would probably fight for my life. I would want to survive a given situation. But back then, I could not fathom even lifting a finger to save myself. But now, with with having my boyfriend around me, having my dogs around me, my family, the family I created for myself, I mean, it's not like I created my boyfriend, you know what I mean, the family I formed, that I have, I would want to fight to stay with them and to still have that in my life, which is not something I could have even dreamed of before. I was just so done. I just never thought that I would enjoy life. Anyways, so crazy. End of May, I graduated high school. And I continued going to college and everything like that, but online. In June, as a semi-graduation trip, me, my mom, and my younger brother went to Las Vegas. It was more to visit my grandma who lives there, but my mom let me pick the hotel and everything. We stayed at the Venetian hotel, which was gorgeous. It's insane. I mean, I hate Las Vegas because the heat. It's insane there. But the Venetian was just so beautiful, and they have this whole indoor city basically, which fixes my heat issue. And it was just so beautiful. Architecture amazing, and especially because I've been to Rome and everything, where a lot of their building is inspired off of. It just made it even more special. And it was honestly really hard to be away from my boyfriend. We were only together, I think, for a month or less than a month at that point. But it was honestly really hard to be away. And attachment issues go crazy. I definitely think I probably have a little bit of an issue with attachment, but it was kind of crazy. Pretty sure I definitely cried a couple times, and I was only gone for a couple weeks. But even when I was gone for like the first couple days, I was still probably crying, I think. But we made it, and it was fine. And then after Vegas, we went to Texas because like my mom has us for like a couple weeks during summer. So she had us for Vegas, and then there's still extra time where we had to go to her place in Texas. And then I met up with my online best friend at the time, and so that was fun. I spent a lot of money, a lot. It was bad, and I definitely regret it, because now I'm definitely more in tune with money and saving money. Like back then I still saved money a lot. Like I did not spend as much as the average like 17-year-old, I think I was at the time, or 18. I definitely did not spend as much as the average, but I still really regret all the stuff I bought that day. I think I still would have had fun spending $0, you know? I mean, everything I bought I use. Like I bought a Coach wallet, and then I bought some expensive makeup. And I use it all the time. It's not like I wasted it, but I also didn't need it. I had a wallet already. I have so many lipsticks, but it's whatever. I got home, my boyfriend got me flowers, but he said his sister had to like tell him to get him flowers or something like that. Or he was like, oh, I feel like I should do something, blah blah blah. And his sister was like, yeah, get her flowers. So it would have been nice if, one, he figured to do that himself, and two, he didn't tell me in the first place, so I would have just continued to think that it was his idea. But it's fine. I get guys aren't really good with that kind of stuff, but we decided we wanted to go camping together with his friends, but I wanted to kind of practice beforehand. So my dad said that he would take us out. So me, him, and my dad all went camping together, which was kind of awko taco, but also kind of fun. I think him and my dad had some bonding time. But also my parents both hate his guts. But they didn't hate him at this time. But me deciding to move out like a month later with him definitely was not the right move for them having a good relationship, because it's like, oh, he's stealing my little baby away. But it's whatever, because they weren't really good parents to begin with, so why would I want to stay with him? Or it's really only with my dad because my mom doesn't live with us. It's like, if you want your kid to stay with you, how about you be a good parent? Thoughts? And then at that time, I kind of stopped gaming. I wasn't gaming as much because I was just hanging out with my boyfriend. I had an 11 p.m. curfew, and I basically hung out with my boyfriend every single day. Since like April 1st until we moved out in July, mid-July, late July, I went over to his house every single day. I would wake up at 5:30 when he did work, drive to his house, stay there until 7:45, drive him to work, stay at his house sometimes. I go to work. Well, if I did go to work, I would go to work at the same time as him because I changed my work schedule to be the same as his. And then we would just hang out till like 10:45 when I had to go home every single day. So yeah, my dad didn't really like that. And then when my mom came to come visit, she didn't like that either. But I was living the life, okay? If my house is shit, why would I want to stay there? So I'm gonna go hang out with my boyfriend. And he doesn't have a car, by the way, or a license. But he's getting his license test in a couple days. But yeah, anyway, July, we went camping again, this time with his friends. This was our first night spent together. And then later on that month, we actually went to our little fair. There was a fair in town, which I didn't know about. Apparently, it's what our town is known for. I lived there for 4 years and didn't know, which shows how much I was on my computer gaming, because I find it very hard to make friends. So I didn't know what was going on in town. But we went to the fair together, and I went on my first Ferris wheel, which is it was actually one of my New Year's resolutions that year, which is kind of funny, along with getting a boyfriend. So we were able to do both of those things. And the Ferris wheel was so fun. Then for our 2-month anniversary, we went to a fancy little dinner, and then we started our drive down to Texas, which is where I live now. And very, very spontaneous decision. My brother told me about an opening at his apartment, and we basically decided to leave for Texas like not even a week later. We were looking for apartments in Sheridan. Okay, Sheridan is the place I lived. We were looking for places in Sheridan, and there wasn't places, but really expensive. And so when my brother told me about another option where he lived, I was like, okay, let's do it. Well, actually, I did not want to go at all, actually, but my boyfriend wanted to. So it's like, okay, fine. So then we started our drive down, and I just felt so free, not like living with my dad anymore, not being with my like blood family. I felt free and happy, and it's like a huge weight got lifted off my shoulders, and I still feel like that every day. And every time I wake up, no matter how annoyed I am with something that happened, like my car having issues, rent going up, utilities being high, nothing has ever made me wish. I wish I could be a kid again. I wish I could go back and not have to be an adult. Adulting is so annoying. I wish I could go back and have it easy with my family again. Nothing has ever made me think that. And like no matter how hard life gets, I will never wish or want to go back to how it was. And so at this time I was just so light. I felt happy and free and just blessed. I'm very grateful I had the opportunity I did to move out immediately. All that money I saved up when I was younger, it really went to a good use. And then during that time we started our plushie collection. We have so many stuffed animals, which I don't know what we're gonna do because we're planning to move again, and so that's gonna be kind of frustrating to figure out because we weren't really thinking about moving again at the time, but since we started thinking about moving, we definitely haven't bought anything cluttery, which is good. I'm glad we're locking in on that. But just thinking about all the stuff we have, it's kind of like, what are we gonna do? But basically, we bought plushies all the time. Anytime we saw something cute, we're just like, oh, gotta buy that. But they all mean something. They all have a name. We all know their story, where we got them, and everything. They all have their own little family and everything made. So yeah. And then I met with my online friend again. And we were just having fun. I was enjoying being in love for the first time. I would say the feeling is just like the movies, but the actual actions that you're doing, it's not like the movies. You're not like going out and holding hands, dancing on a bridge in the rain, you know. But that feeling that I get in my heart, it's everything and more than what I expected. And it's just great. Now August. I started up my online TikTok shop of business again, and it took a while to kind of get started, but I felt good for just taking initiative and doing that again. We started playing It Takes Two together, which like I said earlier, I kind of stopped gaming for a while, but it was kind of fun to just game with him again because before we started really hanging out in person, we just gamed together a lot. So it was kind of fun to get back in that experience, or that zone, you know. And then, oh yeah, so when we got down to Texas last, like in July, we were just living with my brother in his spare bedroom, because the move-ins for the apartments didn't open up till August. So in August, we got to move into our first apartment officially, and it was such a magical experience. Like, I felt like my life had finally begun, and I still feel like that was the starting point of my life. I was able to be an adult, which is the best thing in the world. Not having anyone to report to, you know, not having anyone to degrade you and not being able to do anything about it. Not having like shitty parents hovering over you all the time. It was nice. It was freedom, and it still is freedom. There's not a single thing I would complain about with the adulting experience. And then I got a job at Target, and then I quit that very soon. It was just a seasonal job, so it wasn't really that serious. I hate working, and it just wasn't really that fun. But then I got another seasonal job at a bookshop, but that one only gave me one shift a week, and it was just hard to keep up with going, so I eventually just stopped going because it wasn't very routine, and again, I just don't like working. We got a puppy. His name is Bunny, and gender is kind of confusing because, so we were initially in the same litter. We adopted, but there was like a litter of puppies they brought in, and so we were initially wanting a white one, which was a girl, because I really wanted a little girl. But when we went there to actually get the dog, after seeing it for a couple times, someone bought him or bought her. So then they're like, oh, well, we have another white one, but it's a guy. And I was like, okay, let's get it. So we actually called Bunny a girl for quite a long time, and we just now started to be like, okay, well, he has a dick, so let's probably call him a guy because everyone else is gonna get confused. So yeah, so Bunny's a guy, but occasionally I'll probably call her a girl. Yeah, okay. And then my boyfriend got addicted to Pokemon. I wrongfully influenced him, so we spent and wasted, I would say, a lot of money on that. But it made both of us happy at the time, and he wants to get back into it now in January, and I'm just kind of iffy about it because it's a lot of money we spent. I was looking back at receipts and charges on my credit card. It's a lot. Yeah. But he did donate blood to BioLife, like donate plasma, I mean. So he got some money from that. So a lot of that was spent on fun stuff, and whatnot. September is still Pokemon. Boyfriend got a job at HEB, I think either in August or September. And he was earning good money in that, but then he quit soon after, which I'm not really happy about, to be honest, because it was a really good job and it paid good and it let me focus on school, but he thought it was too difficult, and so he just quit without considering the damages that it would cause. So I ended up having to get a full-time job, obviously, while going to full-time school, and he's still unemployed. He worked at Target for a while, per my advice, but then he ended up skipping about a week in a row, and they told him not to come back because he skipped because he couldn't wake up for his shifts in the morning. So yeah, so he's unemployed again. He had that job for a couple weeks and then he got fired. So he's looking for another job, but the best job he can get pays like $16 an hour, and HEB is paying $19.50 an hour. So I'll probably still have to stay at my full-time job, and school is starting again. I'm doing even harder classes, and so I'll have to be doing full-time of that and full-time this and my online business too. And he doesn't even have a license, so I'm still his Uber and have been for a while. So it's just kind of frustrating because, to be honest, I think I'm putting in a lot of effort he's an investment, and I've put in a lot of money into that investment. I paid off his phone so that way he wouldn't have to keep paying monthly payments, put him on my phone plan so that way it would be cheaper. And his phone was like $600. And I'm also paying rent for both of us right now. That's taking up, and I mean, I have been paying rent. He contributed towards rent for I think a month or two when he was at HEB, maybe a month. But I've basically been paying for rent this whole time, and that's drained nearly every penny of my savings that I worked really hard to save up for. So it just feels like I'm putting in a lot of work and he's not. But I've talked to him about it, and he said he's gonna try and do better. But he's also said that the past 4 times I brought it up. So I don't really know. Gonna have to be a more serious conversation for later, I guess. But it just feels like I'm putting in a lot of effort and it's not being appreciated or reciprocated. Yeah. And just little things too, but we won't get into it. October, I kind of got into coloring a bit, and he bought me a coloring book and some markers, and so it was really fun. I met up with my friend again, and that's in October is when I started budgeting. So I made a little budgeting spreadsheet, and I've been doing that pretty consistently. I don't think I've really missed anything since October, and it's been really helpful to just kind of see an overview and to see upcoming payments and everything like that. November, or maybe it was October sometime, but it was ongoing in November, we developed a crumble cookies obsession. Spent a lot of money at Crumble, and Crumble's expensive, but Crumble's good, and it was very fun. A lot of our Crumble visits were just on his BioLife money, so it didn't really come out of my pocket. We took a trip up to Sheridan, a drive, and it was really fun. I had a lot of fun sleeping in the car, honestly. It was better than driving down here, because driving down here was obviously with all of our junk. But driving up to Sheridan, we really only had 1 backpack each, and we could just lay down the seats in the back and just sleep, so that was nice. December, celebrated our 200th anniversary, and in one of the previous months we did a 100 day, but I forgot to add that, just realizing. So we made a cake, which is what we did for a 100 day as well, so that was fun. He got me flowers. That's when I started the Vlogmas and everything. December, lots more ups and downs in our relationship, but still worth it. Like, I'm not doubting anything like that. It's just one of those things where it's like you get past the honeymoon stage. So a lot more ups and downs as we're getting more tight with our money and whatnot. So, and I'm very money, numbers. And I think I'm more intelligent in that area. And he's still in that high school boy mindset, because that's just what he grew up with. He never had to be financially worried about anything. And we worked at the same job, but he worked more than me, and so he earned more. And while I was saving up thousands of dollars, he saved up 0, not even a single cent. Every time he got his paycheck, blew it. And I think he earned like at least $20K from that job, and he has nothing to show for it, which is kind of frustrating because a lot of burden has been put on me. And yeah, he did get a tattoo of my name, very spontaneous decision. We were both walking downtown after eating at a cafe, and I was like, oh, tattoo, you said you wanted tattoos. And he's like, okay, let's get one. I was like, okay. And then he wanted to get one of his name, or my name, sorry, well, he wanted to get one on my name, and so he got it. But then the guy's like, okay, yeah, that's gonna be $150, and then plus tip and everything. And my boyfriend's like, oh, I don't have enough. So I'm like, okay, so I have to pay for you getting my name tattooed when you're the one who wanted to do it. Like, I'm not mad about the tattoo or anything, but it's just like, you have to think things through, you know? You can't just say, oh, I want this, when you don't have the money for it. And that's happened a lot before, where I have to end up paying for things. Like Pokemon 2, we go out and he's like, oh, I want this. And then we get to checkout and it's like, oh, I don't have enough. So then I have to pay for it. and it's like something I didn't really want in the first place. Yeah, we got some nice gifts for Christmas, which was fun. Christmas party at work was fun. And then there's New Year's, and that's kind of where we are right now. I'm still very worried about money because we want to move out in July, and we're actually going back to where we used to live, but I found some cheaper apartments after having some time away and being able to research and everything. I think we're in a better position to kind of have another reset, and he'll be able to get a better job down there and hopefully stick with it, or else that's going to cause even more difficulties. And I'll be able to go to school in person instead of doing things online, which is a lot more difficult for me. So yeah, hopefully in July it'll be a nice reset, and we'll be able to be more stable and be more have a good flow, a better flow, easier without as many bumps in the road. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good recap of the past year, little over a year, I think. Yeah, a little over a year. Good little recap. Hopefully I can keep up with these videos and kind of give my future self something to look back on, or anyone else who wants to join me in this journey. Oh yeah, also my nails are very pretty. My Secret Santa at work got me nail polish, which I did not put on my list. She actually didn't give me anything on my list. I don't know her at all because I just recently started working here, but it's pretty fun. Oh yeah, I got this job in November. I didn't put that down on there, but I've been working here since November, since right after we got home from our trip, and so I'm still getting to know everyone, and I've been getting better with the flow of work and my duties and everything. I've been taking on more responsibilities, but this place does not pay a lot, and it's kind of frustrating. Yeah, anyways, my nails look good, at least. So yeah, anyways, that's it, and hopefully I can keep up with this, but anyways, bye!